We are supposed to have a guest on who has not showed up yet, but should be. So we will keep you updated with that. He is Eid Ali of MOLDA, which is Minnesota Uber Lyft Drivers Association, here to talk about what's going on in Minnesota, what they're doing there. They're taking pretty much the same playbook as Seattle and Washington State and bringing it into Minnesota and doing that. So hopefully he will be on in just a few moments. Oh, I see him now. Hold on. Hi, how you doing? Eid, how you doing?
Good. Sergio,
all right. Well, we were just about to give you a call and do it over the phone, but glad you could come on and get going. So we are looking forward to this. So thank you for taking time coming on and talking about this, because obviously this is a big, important topic for many drivers around not only just Minnesota, but also around the country, especially when it comes to something like Seattle, Washington, kind of leading the charge. And, other areas are starting to pick it up. So I'll give it right over to Sergio. So Sergio.
Eid, pleasure to meet you. I've spoken to you before, obviously. Thank you for showing up. I think this is a very important topic that I wanted to talk about for a while, because I'm a huge supporter of the Seattle, Washington State business model for the TNCs, right? Uber and Lyft. And a lot of people ask me, what's our playbook? I want to do this in my city. I want to duplicate this in my city, right? Well, I know you guys kind of pretty much carbon copied whatever happened in Seattle and started MOLDA. So explain who you are, introduce yourself. What is MOLDA? How did it start? And we'll go from there.
Well, thank you so much, Sergio, and thank you. I'm sorry for the technical issues, but
no worries.
My name is Eid Ali. I'm the president and the founder of MOLDA, which stands for Minnesota Uber and Lyft Drivers Association. It's an organization that was started a little over a year, probably about, I would say, 2 years, June 16, 2022, with 22 drivers. So mainly frustrated drivers who were struggling at the time came to somewhere and kind of started talking about the issues, the concerns, and all this stuff. So in that conversation, we decided that the only way that we can go forward and to the next level is to just kind of organize and kind of put our efforts together. And in that conversation, we realized that not only going out and protesting and striking is not going to be the only way to get where we want to be. So we realized that it's going to take some time, but we have to kind of put things together, organize ourselves, register an organization, talk to people who will give us all of the things, all the counseling that we might need to have, because if we didn't have, we didn't know how to run an organization prior to that. So thank God we did a wonderful job by just talking to the right person or to the right people. And it was also the right time because it was late 2022, and there was an election at the moment going on. And then we just try to kind of see politicians and all of those different people that we wanted to have a relationship with. And it was easy for us to kind of reach them out. And that is how it started. And then we just kind of started, collecting a few dollars from the drivers so that we can hire our own attorney, just kind of rent an office place. And then we started to expose ourselves and just meet some, reach out with some politicians just to get some events. So that is how it came about. And then we had some contacts with Seattle and some great friends over there. And they kind of coached us on what they have done before. And that is how we came about getting something in the makings about legislation. And then we started with the city of Minneapolis, and then also moved to the next level, which was that we had some good friends. We still have plenty of friends in this Minnesota State legislators. So we contacted them, and they were very friendly to us. And then we introduced them our legislation or the language that we had at the time. And that is how we just kind of exploded
Yeah.
to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great summary. And so for people who are watching, and by the tens of thousands that are going to watch after this, our replay, this is the playbook. The way it's a grassroots movement, right? At airports, you guys can do this. Print some more of your flyers, talk to other drivers, get drivers together. Because look, I do also believe that there is a point of striking and demonstrations and protests, but it is not enough, right? We need to get the ears of the local legislators first, because my plan is to support everything and anything in a city by city, state by state level. So to give it a little background, right? You guys, with the help of Senator Fatah, passed, in the state level, ordinance was passed, or a law was passed, and then it was vetoed by Governor Walz, right? And then at the city level, there was an ordinance passed, and Mayor Frey vetoed that one, right? So you guys hit a wall, right? Obviously, and then Governor Walz said, we're going to have our own committee. We're going to study it 4 months. All they did is waste 4 months, and then nothing happened out of that committee, correct? And now you guys are back at it again. So let's pick it up from there. So you had 2 steps backwards, but now you're taking a step forward, and explain us what's happening now.
Well, thank you, Sergio. Basically, when our bill was vetoed on the state level, the governor, like you said, kind of created a commission or a task force, which I become also a member of that task force. So we never said that our bill was vetoed and killed, so that we need to just kind of go home and do nothing. Now, we said that we're going to take advantage from any opportunity, even it's that little, to do something about our case. So we became a very active participant of that task force, and we negotiated, we talked. It wasn't very fun one, but it was that was an option that we wanted to use for our own benefits. It's not what we wanted, but we thought that was one step to the right direction, at least. So the task force had all kind of folks who were representing different parts of the society. So Uber had a representative, Lyft had a representative. The House Majority Leader was also a part of that. So it was kind of a mixture of folks from different backgrounds. And we thought that if we can amplify our hardship and everything in that committee, it would be something. So thank God. We didn't get whatever we wanted, but we just made a progress by kind of negotiating on some of the stuff, as far as the deactivation issue, the transparency, and also the insurance part. And one more thing, I believe the resource center. So basically, out of the 5 areas that we were pushing, which is transparency, the activation, resource center, insurance, and the wage, we at least kind of agreed on some level on 4 out of the 5. So that was not as bad as we thought it was going to be. And now that report was given back to the governor on, I believe, January 1st. So it's now waiting to be given to the legislators, who will just come back on February 12th. So that's where we're at now.
Okay, but the pushback of our community and a lot of communities is going to be, I've been doing this for 8 years, and from the first moment till today, and we know where earnings are at as far as drivers are concerned, right? That is the main focus point of the community. We're not making enough money to pay our bills. Upfront fares came around right about you guys started organizing. That's another cut. We're not getting. Pay is the number one issue in the community, and it seems like out of 5 things, pay was left out, right?
Right. Yeah.
And now, is there something happening in the city council level now that pay may get addressed, or what is going to happen? If pay is not getting addressed, a lot of people are going to go, oh yeah, we lost this one too. So what do you say to that?
Well, thank you, Sergio. The good news about the city of Minneapolis is that our bill was vetoed by Mayor Jacob Frey last year. And so we were fighting to get more folks to just be part of that city council member. So thank God in our last election, we just get two more progressive people join into the city council member. So we are in a very good shape now. The president, the newly nominated president of city council member of Minneapolis, is very friendly to us. The vice president, the same thing too. So we are in a very, very good shape this time that we're going to get something out of that. So the January 30th is going to be the day that that rate will be read out, because it was sent to folks to study, and they're going to come back with that study on January 30th. So we are in a very, very good shape when it comes to the city of Minneapolis, and I believe the rate is going to be $1.40 per mile and 54 cents per minute, which is quite reasonable. So yeah, that's what we're expecting from city of Minneapolis.
I agree. Okay, so there's two battles happening, one at the state level, one at the city level, right? Yes. So for our audience to understand this, so they did lose both fights, but then they kept going at it. This is what we have to do. We cannot just get slapped once or twice and just run back to our corner. We got to keep at it, right? And so at the city level now, there was elections, and then a couple of more progressive, you're saying, but I'd say driver friendly, maybe city council members were added. So that vote is when? January 30th?
That's when they're going to read the study, and then probably maybe 2 weeks later they're going to have maybe a hearing, and then after that hearing there's going to be the last.
And you're hopeful that something can be passed with those rates that you just discussed and with the other protections as well?
Yeah, 90%, yes.
Okay. So now that you have more council members, how many city council members are in the city of Minneapolis? Is it 12?
13.
So you need 60% in case Governor or Mayor Frey override, or vetoes it again. You will possibly have override powers?
Yeah, we need 9 folks to be there to override his veto. And yeah, I think we were inching towards 9. I believe we have 8 solid, but we were inching towards 9.
Okay, so now you guys are doing exactly what City of Seattle did, right? You have the council. You're going to start this fire, I call it, in the city of Minneapolis, right? Because one of our amazing contributors lives in Minneapolis. His name is Joe, and I talk to him all the time, and he goes, I'm going to support with everything I have, so I will introduce you guys. Actually, he's the one that introduced me to you, but so my voice is going to be yours, right? So whatever you need from me, I'm willing to email to all our, city Minneapolis viewers, watchers, listeners. Please go support this. Please, when MOLDA is putting on an event or a protest, please go support this cause. This is higher rates, more protections, and I think it's a better package than what it is. Now, we're going to hear from Uber and Lyft the usual playbook. Or we're going to leave, right? Or the rates are going to go up, or you're going to lose your flexibility. What do you say to all those 3 things that Uber and Lyft always say?
Well, that's a very good question. I mean, that was the challenge that some of the politicians were just kind of playing over and over. So if we just accept whatever rate you guys are coming up with, which we think is fair, then the consequence is not going to be a friendly one. I mean, the backlash because of Uber and Lyft are very, there are multi-billion-dollar corporations. I mean, they're capable of just leaving, the city, and then we're going to have that issue of not having, companies who will serve for the people. So what can we do? So to be honest with you, we have been reached out by a number of other companies who are interested in coming into this market, as far as from New York and also some local ones. So we are having an ongoing conversation with those other folks. But we hope that, this market is huge, so that it will help everybody if we get more other competitors to join into the market. But I at this point, I don't think that we're going to have that threat, because of Uber and Lyft have realized that it's very, very important and critical to acknowledge that this issue has to be resolved without, creating all kind of fearful tactics to either the politicians or with the rest of the public.
Yeah, I mean, I am in touch with both companies, obviously, at very high levels, right? Look, this was created by them. They shouldn't be crying now that, oh, we're going to leave. Oh, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. It's not the driver's problem. I mean, you're running a business. We're running a business. If my business is going under and your business is flourishing, you became a $130 billion company. I don't want any of that $130 billion. What I want is I want fair pay for my work. And I want you to recognize me as a human being, number one. Number two, don't, deactivate me for some BS that some passenger says. Give me some rights that I can work with. And also I can put food on the table, because at the rates that upfront fares are presenting, I don't think it's feasible, honestly, to operate a vehicle and be a profitable business just like Uber and Lyft are, right? So, I mean, look, I'll give you a couple more minutes. Give us a closing. We got your playbook. This is the playbook, people. Listen to the man. And, I will support anything you guys need. I'm telling you. And I think this is a win that the drivers need in the city of Minneapolis. And if we do get this, and I think there's other cities now are going to fall in line. Chicago may fall in line. Boston may fall in line. But this playbook could be repeated with different rates in different cities and then spread out to the state. That's the playbook. And here's the man. He started MOLDA. I mean, he's the president of it. He should know. So I'll give you a couple of minutes in closing. Whatever you want to talk about, let's do that, and then we'll say goodbye to you. I know you're busy.
Well, thank you, Sergio, and thank you for the opportunity. I know that so many people are watching today, and I understand this is a very frustrating moment for all Uber and Lyft drivers who are across the country. But this was not fun. I mean, it was very challenging, but we did our share by just kind of bringing people together, just kind of educating them about the issues and the best way to approach it. Sometimes I know it's very frustrating to the drivers, assuming that things will just happen overnight, but it's a process. I have many of my fellow drivers who were very frustrated, and I thought that, okay, we have done all of the things that you ask us to do, but nothing is changing. It's even getting worse. What I am saying is, I mean, things get better before they get worse. Things will get better. But I mean, we need to be patient. We need to be following the steps of the leadership. And believe me, there will be some good news that we will get very soon. And hopefully we'll be a model, a role model for the rest of the country. And stick with us. And like Sergio said, just listen to what the leadership are just telling you. When we need you to come out, just to come out in numbers and help us to just kind of flex our muscles and show whether it is the legislators or the politicians or even the TNCs. That way we can just kind of make a huge difference. Again, thank you for all of the people who have been with us, trusted us, and we're just investing their time and money with us, the allies and everybody else. But this is something that we need to duplicate everywhere in the country, because of we know that the need is not only here in Minnesota, it's everywhere. Thank you so much, Mr. Sergio. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you, man. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for talking about this issue. This is very near and dear to my heart, because I'm still a driver. I drive in Los Angeles. I'm driving now for peanuts, and it's just not, I can't operate a business profitably. And here it is. Here's Mr. Eid Ali from MOLDA, Minnesota Uber and Lyft Drivers Association. It all started with couple 3, 5, 10, 20 drivers getting together. This could be done. A lot of people want things to be done and served to them on a platter, right? But somebody has to take the lead. He took the lead, and look where they are. And in many cities, you guys can do this. You guys can follow the lead. I will put you in touch with MOLDA if you guys need to learn about their playbook. But, I'm with you guys. I mean, I think we need a victory, and hopefully in a month or so, when the city council votes with higher rates and more protections for drivers, we'll get some good news, and then we'll have you back as a follow-up. And look, Eid, all I know is that I know these companies want to stay in business. And my job is not to put these companies out of business, because millions and millions of people depend on the income that they have through Uber and Lyft driving, right? But the point is, fairness has to come into play at some point. And right now, stuff is not fair. You know what I mean? And we need some sort of, if legislation is the thing to bring these companies to the table, which what you guys are doing, they were at the table, right? yes, you're negotiating. At least you guys are talking, right? As opposed to let them do what they want. That's just not sitting well with me. I want to thank you. I want to thank your brothers and sisters at MOLDA. Much appreciated. We'll keep in touch. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Sergio. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Actually, before you go, Eid, I do have one question that I'd love for you to answer. And I think, if there's a driver out there that's watching that's, angered and mad and wants to actually start making some changes in their own particular area to begin with, what I want to know is, what was the conversation that you had with your fellow drivers to kind of get MOLDA started, to kind of get that group going? How are you reaching out to other drivers in your area to kind of get them on board? What were you saying to them? And just kind of what were you doing in order to get it started? And I think that's something that if somebody's watching right now who is kind of fed up, who is kind of looking at some of these models, like what you're doing in your particular area, what they're doing in Seattle and Washington, other areas, and they're like, I can't continue on with this. It's not sustainable for me. But they're actually wanting to get out there and do some sort of grassroots movement. What was that initial conversation that you had with your friends, with your fellow drivers? And then how did you actually get started from there?
Well, thank you so much, Chris. That's very important. Yes. Well, the need is out there everywhere. I can tell. I mean, it's a matter of having few drivers who are committed to the cause. For example, myself, I didn't work for my family. I have a very young family of 5 kids. I didn't do anything else except kind of talking to drivers, creating some, I don't know if you're familiar with it, WhatsApp group. So that was the initial step that we took. We just created a WhatsApp group, and then we were just telling everybody there is a way that we can communicate with each other. We have all kinds of things that we can tell you just to join us. And believe me, I stopped working for about 1.5 years, except doing, this task, because I thought that if I'm not committed 100% to this, that I will never reach that far. So that was number one thing, to make a commitment that you want to make change, regardless of what difficulties you may gonna go through. So the initial start was that we had 22 drivers who were committed, who were listening to me, who said that enough is enough. We're going to be with you all the way to the end, even though I only have maybe less than 10 out of the 22 that I started with. But that was the initial step, just to make a commitment to yourself. Complaining and talking about the hardship that you're going through every day is not going to take you anywhere. You have to be committed of doing something. And with that, you have to be ready, spending your own pocket, spending your own time, and also knowing the right way to just kind of communicate with drivers. So that is something that I will tell people. Number one, you have to negotiate with yourself before you just talk to anyone else. When you think that you're ready for this long-term commitment, then you can talk to the next person. You can persuade them, talk to them, tell them that you're on the same page. Because I myself, I was a driver, and I'm still a driver, even though that I haven't been driving for the last 1.5 years, that I was busy doing this. But long-term commitment, using your own time, forgetting about your own fun time, sometimes kind of compromising with the time that you used to spend with your family. It's very difficult. But that is what you might need to come up before you even think about persuading some other drivers.
All right, great. Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect example of grassroots campaigning. That's how you have to do it. And you have to find some like-minded people and that they are fed up. Again, we get a lot of complaining. I mean, let's do this, let's do that. Well, no, somebody has to take the lead, and somebody has to be the leader in their city and do it. Talk is cheap. Doing is hard.
Right.
And that's what this man did. So, again, much appreciated, Eid. And anything you guys need from us, you let us know. And we can't wait for the vote. Let's see what the vote turns out like.
Thank you, Sergio, and we'll keep in touch.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club, with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you'll be notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.